Every day, from the moment we wake up until we close our eyes at night, we're faced with decisions. Big ones, small ones, life-altering ones, and ones that seem inconsequential. Yet every choice shapes the path we walk. What's the secret to making the right decision, especially when faced with uncertainty or overwhelming options? We've all heard the phrase, "You are the sum of your decisions." But how often do we actually stop to think about how we make those decisions? How often do we examine the factors driving our choices? And how often do we trust our intuition over cold, hard logic? Most of us operate on autopilot, unconsciously repeating patterns that may not be in our best interest, yet we rarely take the time to step back and actively decide how we decide. Enter Matt Bodnar, a decision-making expert whose insights have already transformed countless lives. In his groundbreaking book, 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions, Bodnar lays out a methodical approach to decision-making that empowers individuals to break free from the constraints of habitual thinking and embrace a more intentional, thoughtful way of choosing. Imagine for a moment, what would your life look like if you could make every decision with confidence and clarity? What would it feel like to be certain that every choice you make aligns with your ultimate goals, values, and vision for the future? In Bodnar's 4 Steps, that kind of clarity is not just a dream, it's a tangible reality. His system doesn't just help you make decisions, it teaches you how to master them. But what is it about this book that makes it different from the countless other decision-making strategies available today? What sets Bodnar's approach apart from the rest? It's all in the simplicity and power of the 4-step process he introduces.
No jargon, no confusão, no guesswork.
Just a proven, practical framework that anyone can implement in their personal or professional life. In this review, we're going to break down Bodnar's methodology step by step and explore how it can revolutionize the way you approach the decisions you face every single day. Whether you're grappling with the complexity of your career path, making a life-changing financial decision, or choosing the right partner in business or love, 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions offers not just answers, but a strategy to find the right answer every time. You may be wondering, but why is this book so important? Aren't there already hundreds of guides on how to make decisions? Here's the truth. Most decision-making books are filled with theory and abstract ideas. They offer inspiration but little practical guidance. They focus on the psychological side of things but leave you floundering when it comes to real-world application. This is where Bodnar excels. He doesn't just talk about decision-making, he shows you how to do it in a way that's applicable to real life. He provides tools that are accessible, actionable, and easy to implement, tools that will serve you for years to come. This isn't about learning to make perfect decisions. It's about learning how to make the best decisions you can, given your current circumstances, knowledge, and goals. It's about becoming empowered in your decision-making so that you can move forward with clarity and confidence. Imagine for a moment how much your life could change if you began making better decisions today. What goals would you achieve? What opportunities would you unlock? What would you stop tolerating? And what would you finally embrace? With Bodnar's system, this isn't some distant possibility. It's your immediate future, waiting to unfold. Now, let's dive into the heart of Matt Bodnar's 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions and see how these simple yet powerful principles can help you break free from uncertainty, fear, and hesitation and begin crafting a life defined by deliberate and intentional choices. Introduction: The Decision-Making Dilemma. The book begins by addressing a problem most of us face daily: decision-making. From small, routine choices like picking lunch to life-altering decisions about career or relationships, our ability to make good decisions determines much of our success and happiness. Bodnar presents a relatable scenario: how, despite the abundance of information available to us, we still often struggle to make decisions that are in our best interest. He opens the conversation with a personal anecdote, discussing a moment in his life when he faced a tough decision. The problem wasn't a lack of options, but rather a sense of paralysis in choosing the right one. This serves as a springboard into the core idea of the book: we can improve our decision-making process through a structured approach. Chapter 1: The Power of Clear Frameworks. The first chapter establishes the key premise that decision-making can be better understood and improved by following structured frameworks. Bodnar talks about how most of us make decisions instinctively or emotionally, but these methods are often fraught with biases and illogical conclusions. The focus of this chapter is on setting up a framework that allows clarity. Bodnar introduces a four-step process for making decisions. 1. Clarify the decision. Define the decision you're trying to make clearly. 2. Identify your goals and values. What outcome are you hoping to achieve? 3. Generate options. Brainstorm potential solutions and paths. 4. Evaluate and choose. Consider all options, weigh the pros and cons, and select the most suitable option. He emphasizes the importance of clarity. Often, decisions are muddied because the question itself is unclear. Bodnar asks readers to begin by identifying exactly what decision they need to make. Are they deciding between two jobs? Or are they deciding on a long-term career shift? Understanding the nature of the decision can often help prioritize the right course of action. By framing decisions clearly, we take the emotional fog out of the equation and start seeing the decision as a logical process, rather than something that should only be based on gut feeling. This chapter sets the foundation for more in-depth exploration of each step in the following chapters. Chapter 2: Understanding Your Goals and Values. In Chapter 2, Bodnar dives deeper into goal setting and values clarification. He argues that one of the most overlooked aspects of decision-making is aligning our choices with our personal values and long-term goals. Without a clear understanding of what we value and want, any decision can feel overwhelming and ultimately unsatisfying. Bodnar shares stories of people who have faced major life decisions, only to regret them because those decisions were based on short-term satisfaction or external pressures, not internal values. A key point he drives home is the idea that decisions should be consistent with your long-term vision, not just an immediate reaction to circumstances. He provides an exercise for readers to clarify their values. Start by asking, what do I want to achieve in life? What qualities do I admire in others? What are the core principles I believe in? The more clearly you can define your goals and values, the easier it becomes to filter your options through that lens. Bodnar emphasizes that people who make decisions based on a solid understanding of their personal values tend to experience greater satisfaction and long-term success. Chapter 3: Generating and Expanding Your Options. One of the most common decision-making traps is thinking you only have one or two options, leading to a quick decision that may not be the best. Chapter 3 is all about expanding your options and generating more potential solutions than you initially thought. Bodnar introduces the concept of divergent thinking, a creative approach to problem-solving that challenges assumptions and encourages a broader perspective. He discusses how we often narrow our focus too soon, limiting ourselves to safe or obvious choices. By embracing divergent thinking, we open up the possibility of discovering unconventional or unexpected options. He also stresses the importance of not locking yourself into one path too early. Bodnar urges readers to question their assumptions, take a step back, and brainstorm several possible solutions before choosing one. This process often leads to more innovative and effective decisions. Bodnar shares an exercise where readers are asked to take a decision they are currently facing and list 10 potential solutions. Even if some of them seem far-fetched or impractical, the process encourages creative thinking and provides a variety of solutions from which to choose. Chapter 4: Evaluating Your Options. Now that you've generated a list of possible options, it's time to evaluate them. In Chapter 4, Bodnar explains how to critically assess your options, focusing on the trade-offs between them. He introduces the concept of cost-benefit analysis, but goes beyond the typical financial perspective to include emotional, psychological, and relational costs and benefits. For example, if you're deciding between two jobs, the salary might be higher in one, but the work-life balance in the other might be much better. Bodnar advises looking at every angle of the decision, not just the obvious ones. To help readers, Bodnar shares a practical tool: the decision matrix. This tool helps you list your options on one axis and important criteria, such as financial benefit, personal growth, time commitment, etc., on the other. Each option is then rated against each criterion, and the total score helps weigh the best decision. Schultz goes even further into mental shortcuts, heuristics, explaining how cognitive biases like the anchoring effect or confirmation bias can distort our judgment. He discusses ways to minimize these biases by considering alternative viewpoints and getting feedback from trusted sources. Chapter 5. The Importance of Action. The chapter of the book revolves around taking action once the decision has been made. Bodnar stresses that even the best decisions are meaningless unless acted upon. He discusses how many people procrastinate or hesitate after making a choice, often due to fear or uncertainty. In this chapter, he presents the concept of decision momentum. Just like in physics, where an object in motion stays in motion, a decision that is acted upon quickly gains momentum and leads to more positive results. The longer you delay taking action, the harder it becomes to follow through. Bodnar outlines strategies for overcoming procrastination and making progress toward implementing your decision. One such strategy is the 2-minute rule, which suggests that if an action can be done in 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. This builds momentum and discourages unnecessary delay. He emphasizes the importance of commitment to your decision. Making a decision is not just about choosing an option, but also about committing to the path, taking the first steps, and sticking with the decision even when it gets tough. He shares a powerful example of a person who had the opportunity to make a life-changing decision but struggled because of fear of failure. Eventually, they took the leap, and the decision turned out to be transformative. Chapter 6. The Power of Feedback. In Chapter 6, Bodnar emphasizes feedback as an essential component of the decision-making process. He argues that making decisions in a vacuum is one of the most significant pitfalls people fall into. No matter how well thought out your plans or ideas are, you need external perspectives to test them. Feedback provides critical information that helps refine and improve decisions, ensuring that you are not blinded by your own biases. Bodnar explains that feedback should not just come from one person or a single source, but rather from diverse perspectives. If you ask people who all think like you, their feedback may reflect your own biases. Instead, seek feedback from people with different viewpoints, experiences, and expertise. By doing this, you can spot potential blind spots in your decision-making process and adjust accordingly. The chapter includes actionable advice on how to ask for feedback effectively, such as framing your questions in a non-defensive, open-minded way. For instance, instead of asking, "What do you think about my idea?" you might ask, "What do you think could go wrong with this idea?" This prompts more constructive criticism and helps you uncover areas that might need improvement. One of the most valuable points Bodnar makes is about embracing constructive criticism and viewing it as an opportunity to grow. Too often, we shy away from feedback because we fear rejection or failure. However, feedback is a tool to refine our approach, correct course, and ultimately make better decisions. Bodnar also introduces the idea of feedback loops, where the decisions you make continuously evolve based on ongoing feedback. This iterative process allows for better decision-making over time. He presents the concept with an example of someone starting a business. Rather than waiting for the perfect business plan, they launch and iterate, using customer feedback to refine their product and decision-making process. Chapter 7. Decision Fatigue and How to Avoid It. Chapter 7 takes a closer look at decision fatigue, a phenomenon that affects us all, particularly when we are faced with too many decisions in a short amount of time. Bodnar explains that decision fatigue leads to poor decision-making, increased stress, and mental exhaustion. This chapter explores how decision fatigue can negatively impact both minor and major decisions, and how to mitigate its effects. Bodnar introduces strategies to reduce decision fatigue, such as simplifying choices, creating daily routines that eliminate the need to make countless small decisions, and recognizing when to delegate or defer decisions. For example, people like Steve Jobs and Barack Obama famously wore the same outfits every day to eliminate one small decision from their already busy lives. The key takeaway from this chapter is the importance of mental energy management. Bodnar suggests creating decision-free zones where your brain can relax and focus on other areas of life. This includes setting specific times of day to make important decisions when your mental energy is at its peak. He also advocates for decision batching, a practice where you make similar decisions all at once, rather than sporadically throughout the day. For instance, you could batch decisions related to your work schedule or pick out meals for the week ahead all at once. This helps conserve mental energy and reduces stress. Chapter 8. The Role of Emotions in Decision-Making. Chapter 8 delves into emotional intelligence and its role in decision-making. Bodnar discusses the influence of emotions, which are often at the heart of why we make decisions, sometimes even subconsciously. While emotions can sometimes cloud judgment, Bodnar insists that they can also be powerful tools for making better decisions when properly understood and managed. Bodnar explains that decisions driven purely by emotion, without rational thought, tend to result in regret, impulsiveness, or impulsive satisfaction that fades quickly. However, self-awareness and the ability to recognize your emotional state can help you identify when emotions are influencing your decision-making. For instance, anxiety can prompt decisions that are overly cautious, while excitement can lead to rash choices. The chapter suggests methods for tuning into and understanding your emotions, such as journaling or mindfulness exercises. By practicing mindfulness, you can develop an awareness of when you are being guided by emotion versus reason. In a particularly interesting segment, Bodnar discusses how emotions like fear or desire can cloud decision-making by distorting our perception of the options in front of us. He uses the example of fear-based decisions, such as staying in a job you don't like because you're afraid of financial insecurity. Bodnar teaches readers to ask themselves, what's the worst that could happen? And what's the best that could happen? In order to evaluate whether emotions are steering you toward decisions you might later regret. Chapter 9. Decision-Making Under Pressure. In Chapter 9, Bodnar addresses high-pressure decisions, the ones that feel like they carry a huge weight and need to be made quickly. Whether it's a career change, an investment opportunity, or an urgent family matter, many decisions carry immense pressure. Bodnar provides strategies for staying calm under these circumstances and ensuring your decision-making process remains rational and clear. One powerful tool he suggests is the 5 whys technique. This method involves asking yourself why 5 times in succession to uncover the root cause of the pressure you're feeling. By doing this, you can identify whether the pressure is external, e.g., time constraints, or internal, e.g., fear of failure, and begin to separate your true concerns from the external influences. Bodnar also touches on the importance of risk tolerance, recognizing how much uncertainty you can handle and what risks you are willing to take. He presents real-life case studies of individuals who thrived under pressure by using structured decision-making techniques. He also emphasizes the need for preparation. The more you can plan and visualize various scenarios, the less likely you are to freeze when the pressure is on. By focusing on calm, systematic thinking in high-pressure situations, you ensure that your decisions are made from a place of clarity rather than stress or fear. Chapter 10. Reflecting on your decisions. The final chapter is all about reflection. Bodnar emphasizes the importance of learning from your decisions, whether they turn out to be right or wrong. Reflection is a vital step that ensures continued improvement in the decision-making process. Each decision is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and the process. Bodnar provides a step-by-step method for reflective practice. 1. Review the decision-making process. Did you follow your framework? Were there any biases or emotional influences? 2. Evaluate the outcomes. How did the decision play out? Were there unexpected consequences? 3. Adjust for the future. What would you do differently next time? How can you refine your decision-making framework moving forward? He discusses how successful decision-makers regularly engage in this reflective practice, which allows them to grow from every experience. The chapter reinforces the idea that no decision is ever truly final. If a decision doesn't work out, it's not a failure. It's a chance to learn, adjust, and make better choices moving forward. In the fast-paced, ever-changing world we live in, the ability to make decisions quickly and effectively is more crucial than ever. Yet, too often, we find ourselves paralyzed by the weight of uncertainty, distracted by overwhelming options, or bogged down by the fear of making the wrong choice. Matt Bodnar's 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions offers a fresh perspective on how to navigate this complex terrain, providing a simple yet profound framework that empowers readers to make clearer, more confident decisions. As the book draws to a close, Bodnar leaves us with a powerful truth. Decision-making is not about having all the answers, but about having the tools to make the best possible choice with the information available. In a world where indecision can lead to missed opportunities and regret, 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions offers a refreshing approach to harnessing our inner clarity and confidence. By breaking down the decision-making process into manageable steps, Bodnar makes it accessible and actionable for anyone, regardless of their circumstances or the complexity of the decisions at hand. The final step in Bodnar's framework is about making the decision and committing to it, something that many people struggle with. We've all been there, second-guessing, overanalyzing, or even avoiding decisions altogether. Yet, Bodnar emphasizes that once we've gone through the first 3 steps, defining the problem, exploring options, and evaluating consequences, the time to act has come. The act of making a decision is not a burden, but a step forward. And the key to successful decision-making is to trust in our ability to make informed, deliberate choices. The book's framework is based on practical and actionable strategies that can be applied in both personal and professional contexts. It's not about making decisions in a vacuum or relying on pure intuition. It's about applying a systematic process that enhances our ability to analyze situations, weigh our options, and make decisions with a sense of purpose. Bodnar's 4 steps create a mental roadmap that helps us cut through the noise of emotions, biases, and external pressures, leading us toward the most aligned course of action. But perhaps the most powerful takeaway from 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions is the concept of embracing imperfection. As much as we strive for the perfect decision, the reality is that no decision is ever completely free of risk. Bodnar teaches us that the goal is not to eliminate risk entirely, but to mitigate it by being aware of our biases, considering the impact of our choices, and choosing actions that align with our values and long-term goals. This reframing of decision-making as an iterative process, rather than a final destination, allows for greater flexibility and adaptability in an unpredictable world. Bodnar also emphasizes the importance of learning from the decisions we make, regardless of the outcome. Every decision is an opportunity for growth and learning, and by reflecting on our choices, what went well, what didn't, and why, we can fine-tune our decision-making process for future situations. This mindset shift, from fearing failure to viewing it as a learning experience, cultivates resilience and wisdom over time. As we wrap up the journey that 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions takes us on, we're reminded that the act of decision-making is an essential life skill, one that influences the trajectory of our careers, relationships, and personal growth. The tools and insights Bodnar provides offer readers a structured way to approach decisions with clarity, confidence, and an empowered mindset. Ultimately, Bodnar's message is clear. We are all capable of making better decisions. Whether we're facing a life-altering choice or a daily decision, we have the power to navigate uncertainty, reduce decision fatigue, and make choices that move us closer to our goals. By embracing a methodical, thoughtful approach to decision-making, we transform what can often feel like an overwhelming process into an empowering practice, one that aligns with our values and moves us forward on the path to success. 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions offers more than just a formula for making choices. It offers a mindset for living. It challenges us to take control of our lives, make decisions that reflect our authentic selves, and learn from each experience along the way. Bodnar's framework reminds us that while we may not have complete control over every circumstance, We have control over how we respond to those circumstances through the decisions we make. As we step away from this book, we carry with us not just a set of steps, but a deeper understanding of how to approach life's decisions with confidence, purpose, and a sense of clarity. The decision-making process doesn't have to be daunting. It can be a tool for empowerment, growth, and progress. And in a world filled with constant change and uncertainty, that's an invaluable gift. In the end, 4 Steps to Making Better Decisions is a reminder that the power to shape our futures lies within our hands. Every decision we make is an opportunity to move closer to who we want to be, what we want to achieve, and the life we want to live. By applying Bodnar's framework and trusting in our ability to make informed, intentional choices, we can confidently navigate the challenges and complexities that life presents and ultimately create the future we envision. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Happy learning!